and welcome back to another episode of Lorekeeper, the series where we dive into the lore of various things across the ether and dark ether storylines. In this episode, we'll be discussing the Russian scientist Anton Gersh and American spy Peter McCain. Dr. Anton Gersh would join the newly formed Russian research team, the Ascension Group, in 1955 with his friend Dr. Yuri Zavoysky. In a tale as old as time, these two would not be friends to the end. By 1962, Gersh and Zavoysky would be appointed to two new projects, being Project Mercury, nicknamed the Gersh device, and Project Thunder, which was a powerful wonder weapon known as the Thunder Gun. Unfortunately for Zavoysky, Gersh felt he was unfit to work on these projects and would transfer him to rocket research the following year. This was the beginning of Gersh's end. In November of '63, Gersh would inform the committee that Project Thunder had been completed, and that Zavoysky may need to be removed from the Ascension Group entirely, and he's been increasingly more aggressive to staff, including towards Gersh himself, and has been seen muttering to himself. The following day, Zavoysky would ask to meet with Gersh, informing him that he completed the Gersh device in secret, despite being ordered to work on rockets. Regardless, Gersh would witness the device's capabilities. What he didn't know is that it was an elaborate scheme by Samantha Maxis, who had been tormenting Zavoysky to insanity since his transferal. Zavoysky tosses Gersh into the Gersh device, which sends him into the ether, becoming a prisoner to Samantha Maxis. On the 6th of November, Ultimus arrives at the Ascension Cosmodrome facility and immediately hears the voice of Gersh, who is calling out for help from within the ether. Ultimus would successfully free Gersh from his imprisonment and, as thanks, send Ultimus to their next destination. Gersh would not get a physical body after his freedom, however, and would simply be an ethereal orb. He began to travel the multiverse out of boredom. Eventually, in his travels, he arrives in an alternate universe Stalingrad that is still going on against gigantic robots and ferocious dragons, with a drunken Russian stuck in the midst of it. Suddenly he encounters Primus, who he vaguely remembers as Ultimus.
Wait, you look familiar. No, it can't be you. From the Cosmodrome. Your faces are familiar, but different.
Sadly for him, a robot on the battlefield by the name of Sophia needs his memory and asks Primus to bring him to her, where Gersh is tragically destroyed and erased. However, in the Broken Cycle timeline, Gersh's fate is left unknown as Primus never ventured to Stalingrad, but we'll get to that in a moment. On to Peter McCain. Peter McCain was an OSS spy sent into Group 935's Darice facility under the orders of Cornelius Purnell. However, he was quickly transferred to 935's Asylum facility instead, which was codenamed Verrucht. Purnell began to suspect Group 935 was losing control of their rumored undead experiments, forming a squad that consisted of John Banana, Paxton Gunner Ridge, Smokey, and Tank Dempsey, who acted as the squad's leader. Purnell's worries came to pass as an outbreak occurred at the Asylum facility, sending out a message to McCain to rendezvous at the Rising Sun facility should he still be alive. The four Marines arrived sooner after, on September 17, 1945, but the power outage splits the squad up. The four were unable to find McCain anywhere except for his arm, which was gripping the power switch of the facility. Dempsey was then captured by Group 935, while Smokey and Banana perished to the hordes. Paxton, however, managed to escape. While descending into the Rising Sun facility, McCain's parachute would get stuck on the roof of the building, hanging him. Purnell tried to reach out to him, but to no avail. In an alternate timeline Stalingrad, instead of getting hung in the Rising Sun facility, he is thrown through an Aurora Borealis, somehow emerging from the same rift as Primus, who just finished collecting Takio's soul at Zetsubo no Shima. McCain was dead, however, so this appearance actually meant nothing. I could not tell you why he's included. Anyway, back to relevant lore. In Black Ops 4's Alpha Omega, Cornelius Purnell's guilt had corrupted him to the point of creating Broken Arrow, an American research organization backed by the CIA. The point of it was to redeem himself for sending so many soldiers into their dooms. His first mission was to bring back Peter McCain. Having Paxton Gunner Ridge get Peter's body from the Rising Sun facility 20 years later, which would it'd probably be really rotten by now, and to bring it to Camp Edward. Purnell plans to use the Elemental Shard's anti-115 properties to revive McCain. Upon his revival, McCain began to work for Broken Arrow immediately, as thank you to Purnell for resurrecting him and giving him a second chance at life. Throughout his time at Broken Arrow, Purnell's mental state began to decline from overexposure to the Elemental Shard. McCain noticed this decline, reporting Purnell's off-the-record experiments to George Sawyer, a CIA representative and the overseer of Broken Arrow's activities. Learning of McCain's betrayal, Purnell kills McCain and puts his soul into one of their 80am units. 50 years later, Primus and Ultimus arrive at Camp Edward to retrieve the Elemental Shard. Along their journey, they reactivate the atom that his soul was pushed into. As a spiritual orb, Ultimus Dempsey shares a heart-to-heart with the man he failed to save. McCain accepts his apology, telling him there was nothing he could have done. Now, as a spiritual orb, McCain departs this realm of existence, being the last we'd ever see of him. However, in the Dark Ether storyline, a lost soul mentions hearing floating orbs that sound like a Russian scientist and an American spy. So perhaps Gersh and McCain still float throughout the Dark Ether, lost and confused, but maybe we'll never know. And that's been the stories of Dr. Gersh and Peter McCain. Thank you for watching as always. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.